Peace, peace, peace. The time to this one. And shout out to everybody in the chat room. See people up and early. That's what's really good. And I'm just gonna touch on some of this little information that I've just been researching, man. I actually had an opportunity last night to have good conversation with some of the brothers on the live stream. And I got up real fresh and early to do some research. Because for those of y'all who know I am on disability, so I have been able to really teach myself as well as just put some of the things that I have been learning, put it on these live streams or whatever. And I always put my disclaimer out there that I'm not the I'm not the most educated. I'm not the most well advised when it comes to wordplay. My colonization did not go well. I am still resisting colonization every day. But guess what? If you stay here long enough, you will learn something. And I am the Tonsinist one. I am one sprung from the soil he or she inhabits, which is North America. My family did not come from Africa. I'm not African American. I am a North American Aborigine. I'm not a Native American. I'm not an Indian, even though at sometimes I will use them terms, and I will put the disclaimer, the fact that I am of the Aborigine descent, meaning first inhabitants, not the Australian Aborigines, in which that term was applied to the Australians in, I believe, 1821. The word Aborigine is of the original inhabitants in which the European tried to colonize, or in some cases colonize. So with that being said, all right, so I got this little I just want to go on this because I was researching the underwater pyramids, right? Now, like I said, I go all over with this. I will tell you a little bit about the law. I will tell you a little bit about the process of declaring your nationality. I will touch on that, but for the most part, the history, we have to go over some of this history because a lot of us don't know a lot of things, and a lot of us are not well advised. After what you want to do. Okay, we nationalize. You want to have as much information as you can on this, so you can be able to really fight it. Or when it comes time to fight it, you can pretty much put yourself there, as opposed to putting these mongoloids and the rest of the people that came here in North America. All right. And just real quick, y'all, for you guys, go here to realhistory.com and check out the brother website. I mean, remember, it's some of this he do switch it and say Africans, but for the most part, the brother be on point. He got a lot of research, man, a lot of research in which you can learn a lot from. And like I said, I've been researching all morning, so I've done a lot of research this morning. And I've been through a lot. So this is actually what I was on, but this is not what the video is about. Hold up. Shout out to the brother last night. We was talking about the niggers, dealing with the Dutch. And I found some further information on that as well. Let me see something before we even get into this. All right, it's this one right here. All right, this is it right here. This is some of the research I found, right, dealing with the Dutch colonial periods. And also, that Arnoldus Martinez book is a Dutch book as well. Now, you see, these are Aborigines, right? But they would try to, later on in the book, I'm still reading the PDF, so I'm still trying to get familiarized with it. But if anybody want it, I'll put it in the description. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it in the description right now. See, look, hold on, let me see something. Let me see if can I put it in there now. Matter of fact, you know what? I might not be able to put it. I might have to press edit and go all through that. But yeah, let me just get where I'm at, what the topic is. So you see the heading is the Cubas before the Egyptians. All right. And like I said, man, support your boy, support Culture Freedom, support Hidden Cultures of America. Also support your Tanchan Aborigine gear. Cop yourself a I am a North American Aborigine or one of the 60 to 70 style t-shirts that I do have. You can hit me on my PayPal if you would like to send donations, or you can hit me on my Cash app. And just know, like I said, for me to get this documentary out, I'm going to have to put a lot of my own money into it because I'm going to definitely have to compensate some of the brothers and sisters who have done research, in which I'm going to be trying to interview them so we can get this out. So I'm going to definitely have to compensate some of the brothers and sisters who have done research. I've spoke to Dr. David M. Hotel. I was supposed to do an interview with him, but I can't get through to him, so I just sent him an email. So my phone ring, it probably is him. And I'm probably, I ain't gonna stop doing the video though, but I am gonna tell a brother we're gonna definitely do the video today if he hits me back. All right. So let's get with this, all right, because it's a lot. So this is the website. Now a lot of guys go, oh, this is a pseudo website. Listen, what you have to do when you studying this stuff, you have to see where the people that's putting this information, where they're deriving their information from. Don't let nobody tell you nothing is pseudo, because shit ain't come from these universities where these people gather, and most of these people are Freemasons and people who leave out a lot of information. But the peer reviews are people who basically bias. So don't let a lot of people deter you with that. Don't let these so-called fake scholars or people who claim to be historians tell you that you have to get everything from a peer review website or some type of scholarly website where you have to pay $15 a month or $10 a month. All right, because even the dumbest of the dumbest people can go there, and that information is not right and exact. What makes it right and exact is when you are able to venture out and go to these different websites and then be able to chew the meat and spit the bones out. All right, so with that being said, let's get with it. All right, so this is about the serious. I'm going to be reading the Cuba part. All right, so let's take the gum out of my mouth. All right, so it's before the Egyptians, and the hour is an hour-long, 65-part television series that intend to explore the connection, the global migration of human civilization after the flood and prior to the rise of the pharaoh along the Nile. Archaeologists consistently remind us of the time before the Egyptian is prehistoric. It's a time of cavemen, but this is not the case, as there were civilizations around the world that inscribed and recorded their history, our history in stone long before, not to mention those long ignored. Each week, our engaging hosts will travel to the new locations and explain it, compelling effect upon the new history book. All right. Like I said, even when you check these people out, a lot of these people be biased with the information. But you, at this point in time, what we do know that Luzia is 12,000 years old. So that's one, and we know that Naya, along with, if you believe in the Forbidden Archaeologist by Michael Cremore, we already know that the original people here was Negroes, okay? And you have to just pretty much, anytime they tell you, and they don't tell you the ethnicity of them, you pretty much know. Because if Luzia was found in Brazil in 12,000 years ago, it wasn't just one statue, one cranial or one human remain found. It was thousands of them. They just don't want to let you know that. All right. So science also tell us today that in the wake of a rather rapid meltdown, geologically speaking, of our most recent ice age about 12,800 years ago, the ocean rose several hundred feet and submerging existing coastal habitats. Catastrophically, as researchers have discovered and announced, comet debris impacted the northern hemisphere, causing devastation, tsunamis, earthquakes, and ice melting volcanoes. It's argumented due to the heat trapping snout landing upon the glaciers. Now, I'm saying, if you guys want to believe some of that stuff, you can believe it, but pretty much, I just want to just pretty much report, like I said, chew the meat and spit the bones out. The shit doesn't apply. Don't hit me like, oh man, touching this one. Oh, some of this stuff is not. Just listen. Like I said, I am a student of the game. At this point in time, I am able to read these paragraph, read these passages, and derive what I need to derive out of them. And I see the I see the flim flam as I go along. All right. So I always like to put that disclaimer out there too. All right. So assuming someone lived to tell that tale, it say which wiped out the mammoth, the saber tooth tigers, and many of the other species. Now we know that they found woolly mammoths up in California. Also, the saber tooth or the large tigers, I have seen relics of that. Also cranial. We've seen cranial remains of tigers with long saber fangs or longan fangs. All right, so it's say many others of the other species. This event would explain in term that human evolution, a list of suddenlies, it's an abundant list of facts now accumulated from each scientific discipline studying the changes that took place concurrently around the world over 1,000 years ago. Since moving, now here they go, since moving out of Africa, which we can kind of debate that, but let's just keep it moving. Since moving out of Africa, modern humans or Homo sapiens have been evolving for over 140,000 years. Now we know that's not true because, like I said, when you start looking at different, like that Forbidden Archaeology book, man, alone tells you that they found footprints that's millions of years old, and these was bipedal human beings. These was not no hominoids or no half monkeys or half apes or no hominid. These was well thinking human beings. All right. They say yet the evidence suggests that they moved into Europe about 35,000 years ago. Now remember, put your bullshit senses on. They say some theories argue that we need to look elsewhere to determine where on earth the tools and skills was developed, successfully built cities and thus civilizations. The Mayan long count, and say one component of the frame calendar comprises names for very long time span. It say, for example, the Alaton reference a period approximately 63 million years ago. It say our wandering ancestors were aligning megalithic monuments such as those located in England and Malta. It say at least 1,000 years before the Great Pyramids was built. Now they trying to tell you in England there was things built, but like I said, let's just get through this, and I'm gonna go to the next part when we're dealing with Cuba, because that's pretty much when I just want to give you a precursor of what this shit is about. All right. Like I said, whether you subscribe to it or not, I just want to let you know. So you guys check and you read through it, you won't come back like, yo, man, you like I said, I don't fall for anything. I am not a stupid motherfucker. Trust and believe that. All right. So it's a moreover fascinating Stone Age settlements like the ones found in Sakura Bai in the Akani. I don't know where the hell that's at, but it's they were carefully constructed long before Kufa, the pyramids in I believe Giza, erected the world's wonder. It say these people talked. It say they knew how to utilize a right angle, measure the changing positions of the stars and planets over time, and ably cut and move multi-ton rocks and solid rocks. All right. It says Sirius will examine possible routes taken by these prehistoric travelers and look at who seems to have influenced who. Ancient potters across both the middle and far east were firing clay and creating ceramics for commercial distribution several thousand years ago, indicating not only technology management but also financial administration, and thus class structure were already and accepted way of life. We now know wine was stored in ceramic vessels over 8,000 years ago. Interestingly, in Japan, the Germans and the Ken, I remember anything over 6,000 years ago, they talking about black people, all right? And remember, there's black people everywhere, all right? So don't think that they talking about no European. We know they ain't talking about no Europeans, and we know that the world is much older than 8,000 years ago. So, and even when people starting to tell you, oh, they had so-called objects, man, listen, get the book Forbidden Archaeology, man, because that shit blew my mind. And after reading that, even if he's wrong, even if some of this stuff is not in the tens of million years old, or even the hundreds of million years old, if they're 5 million years and under, then that's something worth looking at. Because we get Lucia at 3 million years, okay? And that is a fucking hominid that looked like a damn monkey, okay? But yet they found these spears, and they found these fucking round spears and shit that look like the thing from what's the shit on Star Wars, that the shit that giant ass, like, I forgot the name of it, but it's like a planet or whatever, the shit that Darth Vader was on or whatever. I can't think of the name of it though, but you guys know. And then also, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you an excellent researcher, y'all, and don't let them fool you. The brother Lean Bateman coming hard with some hard information. Yes, he might say Africans, but understand, you study it, you take the sources, and you go from there, bro. This brother been doing massive research. He showed you the information, and like I said, I haven't had time to re-up on some of his newer videos because, like I said, some videos some YouTube videos you can sit down and listen to. Some YouTube videos you have to sit down and take notes, man. Everything is, some things are entertainment, some things is edutainment. Some things you really have to sit down. If you're a student of the game like I am, I sit down and take notes when I'm watching certain channels. I don't just, like, if I'm listening to somebody like Tariq Nasheed or any of these other brothers that's out here that's talking this talk or whatever, I'll sit down and that's just entertainment. But for the most part, when we dealing with edutainment, I got my pad, I'm writing stuff down, I'm taking notes, I'm doing my personal research. All right. So let's keep it moving. And say, yeah, a pottery factory in production over 26,000 years ago was recently discovered in Eastern Europe. Now, we know them Negroes. Let's say humans have obviously been exploring and exploring for a very, very long time. Passion for power and wealth has driven technology change over millions, millenniums, but has always been tempered by art and culture and looking good. All right, so I just wanted to start off with that. Here's some of the different, different series, but the series I'm touching on is this Cuba and this underwater pyramid. All right, and this is actually this is in Peru. This is, I believe, this is actually, I believe, the pyramid of Sky or something to that effect. Let's check it out. All right, so this is Cuba. So this is according to them show 13. Now look, you see this? Let me see. Let me click on that. All right, so it took me back up. All right, so this is the underwater pyramid that they found off the coast of Cuba. Now people are like, oh man, that's pseudo. That's pseudo. Listen, stop it. Just stop it, man. Stop letting the word pseudo take you from you really exploring and doing research, man. And most of the people that's saying pseudo are bigger dummies because their mind is only programmed to study certain things. If it's not one of them websites the way you paying $10 a month, or it's not this so-called premier archaeologist, you don't believe it. They don't. So James Chatter, Richard Neves, Michael Cremore, and these guys, they don't even accept them, even though that the people telling you not to accept them have done no field work. These are research. I mean, these are YouTube scholars and niggas who buy books off of Amazon that's sitting there telling you, oh, nah, that's a white man, so don't believe it. they telling you, if James Chatter telling you that the first Americans resemble Africans, and like I said, resemble Africans only mean you look like an African. Don't mean it mean that you can be a Negro, but it doesn't mean you're of African. Now most people are like, oh well, we believe that we started in Africa first, which I don't believe that. And that's one thing me and Dr. Imhotep, we had to agree to disagree, but me and the brother had a wonderful conversation. The brother's down to earth, and like I said, I'm going to get that out there to you. All right, so let's get with this. So it say Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula. That's where they found Naya at. Also, I got images of the Yucatan Peninsula with people with afros and Negro features. It say were once connected by a land bridge. So it's saying, damn, so Cuba, like you said, all them little islands out there was connected to the Americas. You think that people just live in them islands for the hell of it? You think people live in Hawaii? Hawaii is in the middle of no motherfucking where. You think people live in Hawaii because Hawaii is probably the highest point of that land to where people was able to live without the water exceeding and flooding them out. You understand what I'm saying? If you look at where Hawaii is in the middle of no motherfucking where, and that's the same thing like these islands. All right, and how you see Cuba, you got Cuba, I believe Cuba, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, and then you got the island of Espanol, aka Haiti, and then you have all these other little islands that's off the damn coast. And like you said, if you look at it, all that land was connected. It still is connected. It's just that the waters is covering the parts where it's connected, because obviously the parts that where the water's connecting at is lower land, is below sea level. All right, that's why they always tell you it's 1,000 feet above sea level, or 1,000 feet under sea level, or like in Louisiana, they was telling you this is 35 feet under sea level, etc. All right, so now like even when you look at Cuba, you can look at Cuba and let me see something real quick. Let me see something real quick. Since we teaching, fuck it, let's go. Let me see something. All right, so let me see something. Maps. All right, so we'll close this shit out right here. I didn't want that to happen. I don't know what the hell that is. Well, I do that. Let me see. Let me hold up. My bad, y'all. I don't know. Sometimes this shit be bugging. Let's see. This is not how I want. I wanted it to stay flat, but fuck it. We could use it like this, I guess. All right, so boom, here we go. It's Americas. All right, so we right here. We right up in here. All right. So now look, you guys take a look at this, right? Now, here go Yucatan. This is the Yucatan right here. This is all Mexico, and you got Peru over here on this side. And all this right here, right? Well, actually, Peru is down here. Peru is in South America. Right here. All right, so look. So when you see all this right here, right? You see all these little islands right here. All this shit was land, man. All this was land. All this shit connected. That's why he's telling you that all this connected. All this, and even right here. And even if you see right here, look, you see where Bermuda at? Bermuda's in the middle of nowhere too, because all this shit was land. That's why I said when I was reading the fact when they said, oh, the so-called ice melted and it flooded and it exceeded the ocean by like a couple of 100 feet or whatever. This will make you give you an understanding of it. Why would anyone live in the middle of Bermuda? All right. So now we at Cuba right here. You got the Bahamas. See all this connected. All this shit connected. Everything. Everything connected. It's just with the rising of the water that it covers certain parts. And according to high these land masses are, they are above sea level, right? So we got Cuba right here, right? So like I said, you got Cuba, Jamaica, you got Haiti, and then you got Puerto Rico, and then you got all these other the Antigua and Barbudas. All right, so you got all these different islands right here, Grenada, Trinidad, you got Barbados, all these islands, Aruba, all these islands right here, right? So before all this, it was landmass right here. That's why they were saying that Cuba was connected to the Yucatan right here. So I'm assuming that that pyramid is down here in the middle of over here. Over there, there's also a pyramid in Bermuda where they found the so-called Sphinx, but we're gonna get to that too. All right, so just to give you an understanding about that. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, so it's a Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula was once connected by a land bridge. Scientists are excited by reluctant and speculate and no, I'm sorry, but reluctant to speculate about the possibilities a sunken city possibly built in a pre-classical period. It's a and populated by an advanced civilization similar to the early Teotihuacan culture of the Yucatan that was recently announced at a depth of about 2,200 feet off the coast of Cuba. Off of, all right, so it's a researchers use a sonar equipment is they have discovered a huge land plateau with clear images of what appears to be a urban developed partly covered by sand. They say from above, the shapes resemble pyramids, roads, and buildings. All right. Same thing that they said they found in Guatemala. All right. It's a huge pyramid in a 10,000 feet of Atlantic, and no, it's in 10,000 feet of Atlantic water was reported to have been found with a pulsaring crystal on the top of it. It's by Tony Benique expedition. Now that's somebody you got to look up. They go a source right there. All right. It said now he the one they shooting him out saying that he's the one that's pretty much said. So they go a source right there. All right. So it said the group also found the old pig crystal tablet there. It say and reported that when the light was blaming through it, mysteriously inscriptions became visible. More underwater pyramids were found off of Central America, Yucatan, and Louisiana. Okay, now, like I said, this you need to write this stuff down for you out here who doing research. And look, they say where domes were found in the stratus of Florida. It say a marble Greek style building was reported found between Florida and Cuba. Let me see something. Now, Florida and Cuba, see? It's right here. It's right in this area right here. All right. That's interesting. All right. All right. So the episode treatment. It's saying 2002, I visited a Canadian company in Cuba operating from Havana called the Advanced Digital Communication. It's a who were are searching for forsaken gallons. It's a year earlier. However, they announced they had located a city underwater at Atlantis. They speculated on the sea bottom. It say to this day the debate rages. After all, the ruins were located at a depth of nearly 2,000 feet, and the ocean only rose a minimum of 600 feet. No, it say 600 feet 12,000 years ago. So if it is a city, then it is very old. No, it's a very old city indeed. All right. So they saying that the water rose 600 feet 12,000 years ago. All right. Now, like I said, man, we already know that if this is it, these are Negroes. All right. So this is little touching on it. So traditional history, the Thanos, Cuban, the Columbus genocide, legendary history of the Isle Youth, and the Glimpse, and buried treasure, mythological history, the Demians, the Coracle, a female turtle, and the twins, alternative history of Bermuda, Charles Berlitz, and crystals. All right. It says in September 1972, America Oceania explorer J. Mason Valentine flying over Bermuda. It's in a light aircraft with and his associate Jim Richardson noticed a mass of rectangular. It's a and coveneer features in shallow water on the southwestern edge of the former Bohemian landmass. All right, so this is in Bahamas. All right, so hold up, let me see something right here. Bahamas. All right, so this is in this area right here. It says, let me something real quick. Let me say it was on the southwestern edge. So that would be right here. This would be southwest. This is southwestern. All right. So this is like right here. This is like in this area right here. All right. So let me see. Let's go back. All right. So where was I at? So all right, boom. All right, so we right here say landmass. Now the Great Bahama Bank. All right, they faced out across the old Bahama Channel, like some kind of ancient port serving the Cuban mainland. They reported. All right, so this is basically where I'm talking about right here. This is in between this area right here. All right. And like I said, man, if you want to go back and whether or not you think that these people were Negroes, you go back and read that monthly what's the name? Let me show y'all something real quick. Here we go, right here. Go back and check it out. You know it mentions Cuba as well in this. So just in case you don't believe that these roles, you already know. See? Now look. When you go further down, it tells you they found stuff in Barbados as well as Cuba. Cuba is up here somewhere. Let me see where Cuba at. It's in here somewhere, man. I know I damn well I read that they found skulls in Cuba too. Nonetheless, though, check out the article. I put this article in a lot of my research or a lot of my videos just to let you guys know that it was Negroes in the West Indies as well as Naya and Louisiana. And they'll tell you, oh, these guys had straight hair. How the fuck do you know what kind of hair they had? They get telling you what their features look like, but we will be so stupid to say, oh, them that wasn't us because we are only from Africa. Our ancestors was only from Africa. Even though you find black skulls and anthropologists saying these people look like Negroes and everything, you will outright that and just say no, because I want to be from Africa so bad. I don't want none of my ancestors to be from nowhere other than Africa. That means that I can't. That means, because if you're not from nowhere other than Africa, that means you can't claim none of that culture in which y'all motherfuckers been trying to hijack them people for, which a lot of that culture came from the Americas. Okay? A lot of that culture came from the Americas, all right? And like I said, like the brother Medicine Man believes that the Igbo tribe came from Brazil. And I'm starting to believe that too, because after doing the research, the Dutch was in Brazil. The Dutch also, they said that Nigeria is a Portuguese or Dutch colony. So, like I said, you have to do your research, man. You have to really pace this stuff back because they have hidden this shit well, and they don't want you to find none of this stuff out. All right. So look, let's get with it. So all right. So, mm, all right. Boom. All right. So it say as early as 1950, a light aircraft pilot reported seeing what they described as underwater stoneworks, which was well within Cuba waters. Similar sightings north of Cuba. It say of alleged submerged buildings complex covering over 10 acres. That's long, 10 acres. It say might even convince the Cuban government that a veritable city awaited discovery in a vigorously defended waters. Among those who also felt they have had glimpsed the remains of the city of Citadel in Cuba. Waters was Lecaster Hemingway. It's a brother of the writer Ernest Hemingway. During a flight into the country, Leicester noticed beyond the northern coast an expanse of stone ruins, several acres in the area, and apparently white. No, it's apparently white. It say as if they were marbles, and exact locations of these underwater features remain unclear. All right, it say in Andrew Collins' book Gateway to Atlantis. All right, it say he proposed in 2000 that the mechanic behind the Atlantis destruction was a comet impact which devastated the eastern Atlantic coast of America, causing literally 50,000 elliptical craters known today as the Carolina Bay. Sometimes around 8500 BC, it's a plus it say or 500 years negative, say fragments of the comet falling in the western Atlantic basin north of the Bahamas. It say would have created tsunami tidal waves perhaps hundreds of meters high. Myths of the legend told by the indigenous people of the Bahamas and the Caribbeans. It say archipelago. It say when the Spanish first reached the New World, spoke of just such cataclysm. The old Taino language name for Turtle Island. The old Taino language name for Turtle Island was once the Amakakaya. It say the people island land of great lords, today called America. Now remember, take that down. Look at research this word right here. You know what I'm saying? And see what you can find. It's a lot of stuff in here that we can find additional research off of. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I take notes as I go along too. A lot of times I'll be studying. I don't always proofread a lot of stuff before I put it on video. Some of the stuff I read already, some of it I haven't read. Because sometimes I go over it because I'll be amazed and I don't always do a video on it. But sometimes I find stuff that I have never really seen. Let me just go back in here real quick, make sure you guys can hear. Holy shit. Zero watching. Let me see something, y'all. Oh, all right. Okay, we got 85, 88 people in here. All right, somebody press one. Let me know that we're still in this motherfucker. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Still with y'all. All right, bet. Jag, man, hit me up, man, when you get a chance, bro, so we can get busy with that, man. All right, let me get back with this. Peace to everybody in the chat, man. Where the fuck was I? Yeah. And like I said, look up this word. I'm a kaya. I'm a kaya. I'm a kakia. I'm a kakia. I'm a kakia. I'm a kakia. All right, that's how you pronounce it. I'm a kakia or whatever. Look up that word, man. And say the Taino language for the Turtle Island was once called Amakakia. It's a people island land of great lords. Say today it's called the Americas. They say he who made the sun and the moon warned the Tainos to watch out for the dead. Wow. They say in the daytime, the dead hid themselves and ate guavas. It say, but at night they went out for a stroll and challenged living. Dead men often dwell with dead women. Love. It say in the duel they vanish at will. It say, and at the climax of love, the lovers found himself with nothing in his arms. Before accepting the door with a man or a lion or lying down with a woman, one should fill the belly with one hand. It say because of the dead have no navel. Wow. It said the dead have no navel. That's interesting. It say the Lord of the Sky warned the Thanos to watch out even more for people with clothes on. Wow. It's a Chief Kakiha fasted for a week and was worthy of his words. Brief shall be enjoyment of life, announced the invisible one who had a mother but no beginning. Men wear clothes shall come to dominate and kill. Wow. It's a recent book called the Atlantico. It say the origins of El Tijen. It says based on Mesoamerican, Amerindian legend and the origins of the advanced form of Central America, ancient civilization that came from, according to the oral history, a race of tall white people from an island to the east, which sank a cataclysm earthquake. All right. So that's pretty much the end of that, though. But you have some key things you can definitely look up in this, man. Description though, but what I found interesting was this. I'm a kakaya, I'm a kakia or whatever. And they know that's called Turtle Island. So, whoever wrote this little whoever wrote this, man, they did some research on it. There's also, let me see something. When you go back to the other page, there's more. That's part 13. So excuse me. Here goes some of the other stories that they got or whatever though. But yeah, man, that's something interesting, man. Saying that a comet came and that's what destroyed Atlantis. That's very interesting. Like I said, I mean, we don't know what the hell happened here, man. We just people trying to really glance. And I know you can't go forward if you don't know the past. I know a lot of people tell you, oh, history not important. History is important. Because you got time after you study history, you study civics and you study all this stuff. You have a lot of time on your hand to study other things. And it's always good to study in the ancient histories, and especially around the Americas, man, because they lying to us about the Americas, man. They telling you that people came on a slave ship, but you clearly got articles like this telling you that, real quick, it's a recent paper in the journal of Brexton, Trevor, and Julian implies that undeformed Negro physical type inhabit the Virgin Islands in pre-Columbian time. Not only is this an implication contrary to previous accepted findings for the Intil area, as will be shown later, but it also failed to give adequate consideration to possible possibilities to these skeleton remains represent intrusive Negro burials. The mere presence of the skeleton in the sand or shell mound of the Indian origin, lacking carefully stratigraphical records, is not certain evidence of primary association with the accompanying artifacts. Moreover, I venture to say that physical anthropologists familiar with the American Indian skull will make the mistake for Indians, those illustrated by Brexton, Trevor, and Jerlin. Indeed, more physical anthropologists will probably be less conservative and say Negro instead of Negroid. It's in support of this opinion that these authors are describing Negroes. They say one wish to present a similar case in Barbados, British West Indies, from correspondent Mr. Shilstone, a Bridgetown, Barbados said it appears that in August 1933, he commenced to excavate Sandy Ridge about 50 yards from the high water mark. They say to the shore of Chelsea Lane on the southern coast of the island. They say the ridge proved to be contain many objects to our workmanship. They say among other things encountered in this site was a skeleton laying on his side about 20 inches under the surface. Now, like I said, I didn't use this a lot of times. I like to use this because this is telling you, you have archaeologists in 1938 telling you that they found Negro skeletons that predate Columbus in the West Indies. Now, we got Luzia, who they said was a Negro, but these idiots will tell you that that was an Australianoid. How? I don't know. But this is what they'll tell you, because you have other people trying to basically say that, well, no, because the Australians don't exactly look like us. So if they saying that they're Australianoids, then they could keep that out of Africa theory shit going. Okay, but this is telling you right here. Now, so let me go down. So, all right, it says, among other things encountered in the site was a skeleton laying on the left side about 20 inches under the surface. Mr. Shilstone believed this skeleton to be an Arawak. Now, we know that the Taínos came from the Arawaks. Okay, the Taínos came about when the so-called Portuguese came in, or the Dutch came in and mixed with the Arawaks, okay, creating the Taínos. And in 1937 presented it as such to the United Nations Museum. Now, this is probably before they even came up with that whole out of Africa things, man, because I believe that during the whole 1900, they knew we wasn't from Africa, and they didn't try to present that. That shit came upon after like the 1950s, or it came upon after World War II, okay, because like you said, a lot of people know. And a lot of people say that, that whole World War II thing was basically to kill black Europeans or to send them motherfuckers to Africa. All right. So we know that, I believe after that, after the 1940s, and when they started saying that everybody was African, prior to that, wherever they was finding, they was just saying that they was Negroes. Okay, they not saying that no Africans came here on no ship like these idiots to say, but nonetheless, though, let me keep it reading, because I got another article I want to read and get up out of here. All right, so they say to be that of an Arawak Indian, and in 1937 presented it to the U.S. National Museum. Upon reconstructing of the skull from the many fragments in which was in Washington, I just felt like calling it a Negro for reasons that will appear from the following description. All right. They say the two views of the Barbados skull are shown in plate D. So when you go down right here, now this is pretty much like some different numbers, additional numbers you guys can read through or whatever. Pretty much read through a lot of this stuff. But when they got the, I guess the actual skulls is up at top, the ones I passed the first time. But like I said, I read through this. I read through this so many times, and I pretty much got a good understanding of it. All right, so They say the two views of the scale is shown in plate D2. It's a comparison with the two skulls shown in the paper of Bricks and Trevor and Julian. It's a indicates that the individual and the sex difference are no more than would be expected of the range of variations in a single race. Certainly, however, such Negro features are alveolar and progastian it's a broad nose and low orbit. It's a are more pronounced in the case of the Virgin Island skull. It's in order to excavate better, the metric finding table contains measurements and indents of the Barbados skull. It's in comparison with the range of the variation of 5 miles from the Virgin Island. It's a with that of 68 male Negroes from Bennington. Gabon series figures are present for what they are worth, which unfortunately is probably very little because the measures are very imperfect. Descriptive agents and more than the racial groups may fall within range. They say the eye to eye, whatever. So you guys can pretty much check this out though. But let me get to the next one. I just wanted to show you guys that, that even in this area right here, man, they know they found this. All this is basically right here, West Indies right here, right? Now, you found Negro, they found Naya right here in the Yucatan Peninsula. All right. They found Luzia in over here in Brazil. And they, along with a lot of other stuff they have found over here. They just don't tell us everything that they found, man. You know what I'm saying? But they found so many skeletons that you can't even really count them, man. They found so many that because they don't want to let the rabbit out the bag. They let you tell you one or two, but if they tell you hundreds, one would say, well, oh, it was already Negroes here, which we already know. Because everywhere they ain't find no Mongoloids. If the Mongoloids the first people here, why are they not saying that these are Mongoloids? Why is James Chad and all these other people going out their way to tell you that they was Negroes here? All right, so I digress from that. Let's go to this one right here. All right, so this is from a magazine called Atlantis Rising. All right, let's say ancient mysteries and explain anomalies. All right, say future science. All right, so you guys can basically read through this. I'm gonna read through some of it real quick. And this is an article. It say rewriting the history books. A rapid succession of new technology is now seriously testing much conventional wisdom. This is by Frank Joseph. You look up Frank Joseph work on YouTube. All right. He also have a book called he got a couple of books, man. King Jabba Treasure. He has another book, but he also do something on the Olmecs. He tell you that it was already black people here, and he's supposed to be an ex-Nazi. All right. Now remember this, right? Remember the Nazis came to South America. So how many of them really, when they got there, knew the secrets and knew that it was already black people there? And that's why they telling you he was an ex-Nazi. How many? They tell you that they sent the Nazis to South America, Argentina in speaking, but and that's like when you do the research, so a lot of them wouldn't know. A lot of them would know. That's why I kind of trust this man's word or whatever. And what reason do he have to lie? See, people is so stupid, right? What reason? Because motherfuckers is so fixated on claiming that they African that if someone tell you that you was already here, then you don't want to believe it. Why? I don't know. I don't know. Why would somebody want to lie and tell you was in America when they telling you, when the other Europeans saying wasn't nobody here, or was a few thousand so-called Native Americans who they wiped out? But just so happens that it's still Negroes there to the day, but the Negroes that's left over are fucking slaves, are descendants of Africans that was born here. Are you serious? And like me and the brother Jaguar was talking about this week, right? If you do the math, right? Let me tell you something. If you do the math, right, real quick, before I even get into this, man, before I even get into this, man. Before I even get into this, let's go here. Let's go to what they give you. All right. Let's go to their research on what they give you. All right. Let's go here. Assessing estimates. All right. You go to estimates. You go to only embarked. Now you go to embark and disembarked. You go to broad disembark regions, embark regions. You want embark regions is the way they got you from. All right, so then you go 100-year period and you go show. All right, so look, when you get through, these are, matter of fact, you know what? These are basically what they try and tell you you got off at, right? This is Africa, okay? Now, these are all the African countries where they tell you they so-called got slaves from. They come up with all these bullshit numbers right here, Senegambia, Sierra Leone, the Windward Coast, Gold Coast, when we already know that the Portuguese went there and we know that they took people over there. They inhabited, they came here first, okay? Now, it shows you, embark 12 million, all right? 12, a little over 12 million and a half, all right? And they said disembark 10 million, a little closer to more than 11 million number, all right? So it's telling you that out of this number, almost 2 million people, probably like 100, probably like 1.7 or 1.7 and 1.8. Let's say 1.8 million people died according to them coming over here, which we already know this is bullshit, right? Now check this out, right? Now you see the time, the dates they give you. They always give you that 1619 to 1900s, when most of us know they stopped the importation of any so-called Negroes in 1808. Okay, now let me see something. Let me see this broad, specific disembark regions. All right, so you know, embark got on, disembark got off. So here, watch this. Now it's going to pretty much show you. Now look, see this shit right here? Now, this is specific disembark regions. Europe, all right? They sent Negroes to Europe, mainlands of North of America, all right? Northern U.S., Chesapeake, which remember, Chesapeake was basically it wasn't never called Virginia. It was Chesapeake. All right. So then you got this, which we know that was named after Cracker. You got your Gulf state. It say unspecified, and then it say Jamaica, British Columbia. Now we already know they took Pink White. They took them to West Indies. We know that when they brought them back, they brought them back through these so-called coasts, right? Through Louisiana and Charleston, places where they try to tell you that they was bringing back Africans when them was already the Indians that was already here. So right here alone, and I'm pretty much going off of this real quick. We're gonna come back. I just wanted to, just for the viewers or people who don't really understand. You got Europe again, mainland North America, British Columbia, British Caribbean, French Caribbean, all right, Dutch America. Now, like I said, you look at the French, you know that the Nash chat was taken from Louisiana to the West Indies, all right? So the Nash chat. So what islands did the French control? All you have to do is look that up. So if they telling you they sent American Indian from the mainland to where the French had colonies at, only thing I do is look at what colonies the French had, and you're gonna only see that it was only probably 2 of them, and the main one was Haiti, all right? Dutch Americas, and see the Dutch is important too, but see, I don't want to tell you that the Dutch really was the people who was in Brazil. All right, the Dutch was the ones in Brazil. All right, so you got Danish West Indies, Spanish America, and you got Brazil. Brazil give you the biggest numbers, right? So right now, so it's saying embarked Brazil. I wanted to touch on Brazil alone because Brazil got the highest number of Negroes there, right? Now check this out, right? Now in Brazil, there's almost, I'm gonna say if they telling you it's almost 200 million so-called black people there, because they lie about the numbers there, man. They lie about the numbers, man. I was told from someone who live in Brazil, there's so many black people in Brazil that they outnumber the rest of the people. That's why they keep on bringing more people in there, so you won't be able to see how many black people really is there, right? So they telling you here, disembarked almost 5 million people. So you telling me 5 million people was able to make 200 million people? There's almost 200 million people in Brazil. Now check this out, right? Not to mention the rest of the Americas, right? Now check this out. Not to mention the rest of the Americas, from Argentina all the way up to their number, motherfucking from Argentina all the way, to Canada. They ain't nothing but Negroes. So this whole landmass right here, there's a bunch of Negroes. Yeah, you see some Mongoloids along the way. You see some Europeans along the way, but we know that they came there. And even in Brazil, you see Chinese and Europeans, okay? But not to mention, like I said, there's almost 200 million called black people in Brazil, and they give it highly credit to them coming from Africa, which we know that's not the fucking case, because we have found too much evidence that shows that it was already black people there. But they try to stop you in your tracks with you thinking that there was any so-called Aborigines or black Aborigines there. All right, so let me get back into what I was touching on before I go. All right, so boom. All right, so this is rewriting the history books. The rapid succession of new technology is now seriously testing much conventional wisdom, right? So it's the quickened paces of technology developed in all scientific fields have not spared anthropologists. A rapid succession of new methodologies, particularly in computer and genetics, is unwinding in a seemingly endless roll call of fresh discoveries to me. In fact, for most observers to keep track, not a few of these recent finds are seriously undermining textbooks version of the past. It say which generations have believed were incontrovertible. All right, so it say among these shattered paradigms is the mainstream instances that are is hermetically sealed off from the outside world until the arrival of Christopher Columbus. Any evidence appearing to contravene the academia dogma was and is pointedly ignored. Now, what are we doing? Everything we talk about is ignored. It say or dismissed or misinterpreted or fraudly. It say for conventionally scholarly is a line drawn in the sand that no visitors from the ancient world ever crossed. It say the only official sanctioned exceptions for the Siberians who enter Alaska via the land bridge. See, remember, it's a spanning from the barren seas no more than 15,000 years ago to become the ancient and all Native American tribal people. Now, y'all see where the fuck we going with this, right? All right, so it's a skeptics of the pat explanation have spent many days compiling a truly vast collection of tools and contraries, particular concerning pre-Columbian connection with the Pharanac, Egypt. They say among the proof are hundreds, at least, a ancient now data mummy. Now we already know, according to the encyclopedia of the Aborigines, that the mummification process is going on over here first. All right, it's a few featuring trace residue of cocaine, a plant never grown outside South America. North American maize depicted on the walls of 18th dynasty mortuary. It say in Upper Nile Valley. It say discovered during the early 1930s by the TVA workers of the temple of Egyptian goddess Isis in Tennessee, where the state's own name translates perfectly into the land of Teni. It say of Isis. Tena Isis. Wow. It's a Greek from the no, I'm sorry. Greek from the Egyptian origins. It's a east. All right. So Tennessee. Wow, that's interesting, y'all. It's a and perfectly preserved statuette of another Egyptian goddess, Bass, recovered from Marco Island off the coast of Florida and now in possession of the Washington, D.C. Smithsonian Institute. We need to go to Smithsonian Institute and run that motherfucker, man, because they got all of our shit there. All right, let's keep it moving, y'all. It's say, now this is where, understand this, right? Give me a second. Let me grab some water real quick so I can get through this shit. Yeah, this gonna turn out to be a good read right here, y'all. All right, let me just sip a little of this water. All right, y'all, let's get with it. So it say, let me take this off my computer before I knock it over. All right, say what may be among the most significant contributions so far to such an impressive body of evidence came to light on March 28th, according to, it say, before it's news. Now remember, this is what the fuck Garfield shot down. When I brought up this so-called website, before it's news website, they, oh man, that's a pseudo website. Yeah, all right. See, people who really do research really knows what the fuck is going on. Okay, now check it out. And say a British team of underwater archaeologists studying an ancient shipwreck of an unknown origins near the eastern coast of Bahamas found a large stone statue resembling the shape of design of the Egyptian Great Sphinx. The basics of the statue seem to be carried an inscription, but erosion has made it impossible to decipher or identify without further testing or examination. See, sinking Sphinx found Bahamas underwater. Now, this is before it's news. Now, motherfuckers is sitting up there clowning this website, right? Oh, man, this is a pseudo website. They laughing and all this other goofy shit. But see, these niggas are they so much on the dicks, excuse my French, y'all, but they so much on the penises of these so-called fake scholars to where they cannot derive information from outside of these fake ass fucking school systems. I got 3 college degrees and I'm working on a 3rd one, and I have never heard none of this shit in school. None of it. I've never heard of it in none of the history class. I took at least 6 history classes. I've never heard none of this shit. None of it. Nothing about no period. Egypt, nothing about, they don't talk about the Peruvian pyramid, they don't talk about the pyramids in fucking El Mador, they don't talk about none of this shit. That's how you know that they hiding a bunch of shit. But people go there, and this is where, now listen, understand this, right? My teacher told me this, right? Or my professor, he told me this, because he already know I used to ask hella fucking questions, man. You know what I'm saying? He said, look, man, he said, yo, just take your degree and do your own personal research. He said, don't worry about what you learn in here. He said, you're going to find the truth once you get out of it. Once you get out of here and you be able to form your own perspective or whatever, you're going to learn the truth. He said, because he said, because you are, I forgot the exact word he said. I forgot the fucking word he used. I can't think of the word right now. But he said, you're going to find it. He said, you're going to find it. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm just telling people, man, you go ahead and seek your information out, man. You know what I'm saying? Damn, I can't think of the word he used though. All right. So let's continue. All right. So boom, this is the link, right? So this is before it was news. Now this is the link. This is where I found the fact that the pyramids in Peru was older than the pyramids in Egypt, right? But this was pseudo when I found other other sites that basically confirm with what they were saying. So if it was Pseudo, why would I find 5? Why would I find 7 more websites that basically backed up everything they were saying? Why? I don't even think they want you to know Mesopotamia is in Americas. This is from what I'm understanding, because they telling you, because the Mesopotamia is the only thing telling you about the Sumerians and Israel and all the shit they find over there in so-called the Middle East is really here. They just don't want you to know that. That's really here. All right. So let's continue reading this. All right. So the article quotes team member James Nelson. Now, hey, look, check this out. Now, what you do is this. This is when you do research, this is what you do. Who is James Nelson? Look him up and see what his accommodations are, or what he known for. You look him up, and then if he's known for being an archaeologist and a researcher, then you start looking at what research he has done, to where you don't have to have nobody else shoot him down. All you have to do is see who among his own group is with him and who's not. The same thing I had to do with Michael Creedmoor. Before I put the Michael Creedmoor story out there, I did some real research on him or whatever, and I find he's part of an anthropologist and archaeologist team. All right, that's well known. So for him to tell you that they found structures in the Americas that's older than anything that they have ever found, that right there tells you a lot. Right? But see, we so worried, because he's trying to take us out of Africa. Never mind that. Smithsonian Institute told you that the first Americans was black people. Never mind that. Worry about them 60,000 structures that gets found in Guatemala. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the fellas for putting me on that, because I know about that. You know what I'm saying? In particular, Chief Holiday and the rest of the brothers who basically touched on that. All right. So James Nelson and say, as having said, the erosions caused by the natural elements and the various corals and life forms which has settled on it has been disturbing our scientific dating attempts. By the nature of the minerals used in its construction confirms beyond the shadow of a doubt that the statue in the Middle Eastern origins, the statue is of Middle Eastern origin. Now he throwing you off with that. It say he refrained from indicating the discovery precise location and did not say whether or not that 1.5 ton structure has been brought to surface on a sample of its basalt removal for testing. But the Web article has carried his interview. His interview does state how the chemical analysis of the stone has demonstrated that it was almost certainly extracted from the quarry. From the quarry near the Wadam Rahana. It's saying an Egyptian region is known for the quarrying industry since 3500 BC. The origin and the original analysis of the surroundings reveal that it's the Bahamas Sphinx. They could have been lying in the spot where it was discovered for more than 2,500 years ago. Now we know it was already there. That thing come from. Cause listen, let's go to where Bahamas at. All right, let's go to where Bahamas at. I gotta open up. This is Bahamas right here, bro. Fucking look. We see where Bahamas at. Bahamas right here, Bermuda right here. All right. So they said it came from the Middle East, right? Let me see. Look, this is Africa. The Middle East is all the way the fuck over here, man. This the Middle East right here. It's the Middle East right here. All this the Middle East. So you telling me that this shit came from all the way over here? This shit came from all the way over there to right here? Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. You're losing me with that one. right, so where was I at? All right, the origin surrounding the Bahamas Sphinx. It say could have been laying, all right, 2,500 years. All right, so it say Nilsson went to tell the World News Daily Report that the object was probably on the one we are actually studying that is scattered near the statue. Unfortunately, the wreck is badly damaged and decayed, and we have been only able to determine that it was possibly between 20 to 65 feet and 30 meters, 100 feet long. Damn, they said this shit was between 20 and say 65 feet and 30 meters, 100 feet long. Damn, it say it made of cedar. Of cedar. Interesting. Look up where cedar is found at. Say while details of the new discovery are still forthcoming, its occurrence in the Western Atlanta generally, it's say and Bahamas specifically, it's say would not be entirely without preceding the origins and the meaning of the Bahamian islands of Bamini, laying 55 miles east of Miami, Florida, are unknown. However, in name reappears in the ancient Egyptian language Bamania, which means homage. You know what homage means? Homage is paying respect. And say was the Egyptian divine practice. And keep in mind, what did they tell you? The only place there's cocaine is in South America. How the fuck did the Egyptian mummies have it in the mummification process? Because they had to be taught from the people here. So you telling me that they just said, all right, well, we're gonna start mummifying things, but we're gonna mummify with some plant that's not here. We're gonna have to go halfway across the damn world to go get it. And some just so happens that the place where you're going halfway across the world is the place where most people stand that the mummification process started. Okay, so use your fucking brains. All right, people. So let's go now. So homage, all right. So the Egyptian divine practice of traveling, it say on far off journeys and a particular approximate God to worship at distant Bamini. If indeed the island has been visited voyages from the Nile Valley. All right, so. Oh, this shit is deep, man. It say further, Egyptian evidence appear in late 1930. It say when Ahmad Vare, it's a geology professor from the University of Paris, was hired by the Haitian government officials to find new sources of fresh water while digging a 10-foot trench. It say on a small island near Haiti, northeast coast. He was surprised to find the black stone statuette of a dog 10 inches long and 6 inches high. The workmanship and execution of all anatomically designed were the first written. Now check this out. Let me tell y'all something before I even go any further, y'all. I got some information from Carimio and from Jaguar Omec. Now, I just so happened to pull this up because I was reading the other thing, but look how this shit connected. I got some stuff from these brothers that was telling me about Anubis was found in America. Also, Carimio did a video of the same thing. Okay, now I read through it a little bit, but I didn't get this far down right here. But now check this shit out right here. Now check this shit out. This is how you know that we are all connected. We are all onto something. A lot of people that's doing some research, you know how we're connected. How that's called synchronicity. I read through what Kareem and them emailed me, but I didn't never read this article right here. Now you guys gonna have to check this shit. I said they found shit in Haiti, bro. They found that shit in fucking Haiti, y'all. All right, a black stone statuette of a dog, yo, 10 inches and 6 inches high. The workmanship and execution of its anatomical details were first rate far above any native Caribbean or Arawak Indian artifact. The animal was portrayed in a calm, recumbent position. It's a head high, head held high. It's a its ears tall, alert, and long muzzle pointing straight ahead in the classical pose of Anubis, the ancient Egyptian god of the motherfucking dead. Okay, now, yo, only here, man. You know what I'm saying? Only here, yo. I mean, like I said, you got brothers doing this, man, but you already know how the Tantrums want to get down. So it's a subsurface find a similar significance to the Bahamas Sphinx are not confined to the Atlantic Ocean. However, although discoveries during the last century, little has since been published in the U.S. about archaeologists' oldest known underwater urban site. Now, here you go. You got a bunch of sites in here. Y'all gonna have to really click on to this, man, and really, really do the research. I'm leaving this up because I'm clicking on. When I get done with this, I'm clicking on to them. I don't want to click on to them now because sometimes I click on to it, throw me off of what I'm doing, yo. All right, so it's a found off the coast of southern Laconia. It's a in Greece during 1967. The city lies submerged in 10 to 30 feet of water and is unique for survival of its almost complete town plans. All right, so I can't pronounce that. It's a Palvalat Peturu, however you pronounce it. It's a its ancient name is known on Paul Stone has been dated to 2800 BC, but also includes a early early Bronze Age, Middle Minoan, and transitional material, including numerous loom weights and surtrans. Indications that the city was a major trading post for thriving textile industries, temple, street, tombs, religious structures, and courtyards, as well as preserved because of the shifting sand and the site location in the sheltered bay. Although although eroded over the centuries, the layout is the same today, and it was 1,000 years ago. If 15 known buildings are currently being investigated by the Australian. See, you got all these Europeans that's coming here to dig up your shit. All right, by the Australian Center for Field Robotics. Its team digitally surveying the structures in 3 dimensions. See? So I'm saying they over here doing this shit while we over here fighting and doing this goofy shit, and we don't even go and find none of this stuff. I know we did it, but like I said, man, at the end of the day, man, a lot of this stuff is our stuff. We don't know nothing about it, man. We don't know nothing about it. I'm gonna continue reading, even though it's talking about Greece. It say, while suggestions of Atlantis seems obvious enough, the site was well known. It's a written about and even visited by vacationers before during Plato time, so he could not have gotten away with describing the 2.2-acre Paul Stone. Okay, it say the long capital of a vast empire. Older generation always known something was there. It say a local mayor referring to the Britain Guardian newspaper. I say, but indirect connections with Atlantis are not missing. All right. So it's a physics. It's a believes that the site was engulfed during the trio of the closely occurring earthquakes and cataclysms. Now, a lot of people talk about these same cataclysms. Cataclysms. All right. A lot of people talk about them. A lot of people talk about the cataclysms and how there was a meteor storm and how people went underground or whatever. And then when they came up, it was these hominid people that was formed in this is where a lot of people say a lot of monkey. The so-called like I forget, man. What the fuck do we call monkeys and all that shit, man? It's eluding me right now. But I've heard stories like this, man. And I ain't don't quote me on it. They might just be stories though. But like I said, somehow when you start reading some of this stuff, it takes you back, man, and it kind of connects you with a lot of stuff you have heard in the past, the shit that just didn't make sense. All right. So cataclysm tsunamis, say about 3,000 years ago. It say this is the same period that witnessed the age of the Bronze Age, say the ravage of Northern Hemisphere and geographical violence in part associated by some researchers with the final destruction of Atlantis. In any case, future discoveries in the waters off the southern Greece should reveal fresh information concerning this pivotal 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 era. All right, so appears to have been just one of the victims among many of the Altinian. The Atlantean. Sorry, the Atlantean catastrophic that overwhelmed other cultures beyond the Western Mediterranean. Say folks' memories around the world commonly cite four such global disasters associated with the survival and the ultimate destruction of such ancestral civilization in the deep past. All right, let me move it up a little bit. Aztecs went so far as inscribe solid imagery of these distant events um, at the center of their famous calendar dish. Such wide world indigenous traditions are parallel by a cortex, it say of close encounters our planets made with the period comet known as Inclink, named after the early 19th century astronomer James Johann France. All right, I guess that's his last name. Inclink. It say if the lid took place around the turn of the 12th century BC, a similar devastating cometary calamity preceded it by 1,000 years. Testimony to that drama occurrence have been standing ever since beneath 60 feet of water in the Sea of Galilee. They say although discoveries a decade ago by sonar scuba diver and archaeologists only just begin to investigate immersion pyramid last year. Say the preliminary survey reveals that it is a 32-foot high cone made unheaved basalt cabols and boulders and have natural faces with no sign of cutting or chiseling. It say though the researchers admit they don't know what the structure purpose was. It say writes the economist Ruth Brown. It say for the science website. I say determined that they have determined it was definitely made by humans, likely on land. A rising sea would have later submerged it. All right. All right. Let's finish this up. All right. So it say that inundation they started in the International Journal of Nautical Archaeology, transpired about 2200 BC, a period concluding with the comet of Inclink near Miss during the late third millennium BC, while not as massive as the Sea of Galilee structure, similar scatters throughout Israel has been identified as the Middle Bronze Age tomb. They say, but the identity of the culture responsible for them is unknown. They say the 60,000-ton sunken structure, circular base measures 230 feet across. It say precisely double the outer ring of Britain contemporaneous Stonehenge. Perhaps both sites were constructed by the same monolithic builders who monumental achievements occur in the tens of thousands around the world. My bad. It say what may be related. No, it say what may be related discoveries was made thousands of miles around in the Indian Ocean, while Atlantis rising readers are familiar with the ruins of the urban civilization found 15 years ago under the Bay of Cambay. It say of northwest India. Another sunken location has been located more recently, say further south along the subcontinent, western coast of Konkan. According to the feature article in DNA India, a stone wall 19-foot tall, wide. They say its topmost section 10 feet beneath the surface of the sea. It say runs parallel to the cities of, I can't pronounce that. All right. Say for its incredible 15 miles. Wow. For an incredible 15 miles. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. So, man, y'all pretty much see this. We gonna get finished. Let me finish this shit up though. All right, hold up. Let me make sure. All right, right here. All right. So, considering the uniformity of the structure, it is obvious that the structure is man-made. Dr. Ashok Maranth is a Department of Archaeologists, Decan College, postgraduate and research institute. That's what I'm saying. See, a lot of these motherfuckers be going to school and they the ones carrying this stuff out. You remember Richard Pryor when they took his ass to Egypt, and he was like, man, these is niggas, man. He was like, man, these is niggas. Let's imagine if they took a lot of us around and we seen this shit. You understand? Just imagine that. If we was firsthand on site when they found, they probably motherfucker probably was shot your ass. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't really want you to know that we was all over the place. They want to give credit to everybody else. They got all these different coaches. The last thing they want to tell you that all these coaches and all this shit was created by Negroes or by melanated people. When we say melanated, we got to be real careful with that. But let's say black people. All right. So, all right, so postgraduate and research institute in Prune. They say we were actually studying the impact of the tsunamis and the earthquakes of the western coast when we first found this structure in Valnahawa. I guess that's how you pronounce it. He explained there have been an exhaustive study about seawater coming inside the land based on the circulation experiments from the National Institute of Oceanographic peg and age the walls at around 6,000 BC. The date is no less shocking than the rampart erroneous extinct because the subcontinent earliest known high culture belonged to the Indus Valley civilization, which was founded some believe 2,700 years later. Apparently, the builders of the Konkan wall already in possession of monumental building skills, and the social organization required to implement them when the site came into being an astonishing 8,000 years ago. All right. Say while conventional scholars are at a less to guess who these pre-Indus Valley construction engineers might have been. Alternative researchers see reflections in the underwater discovery images of the motherland of mankind. It say as British investigator Colonel James Churchward characterized the even older kingdom of Mu. Now people think that this shit is false. These niggas don't believe in this type of stuff. Oh man, oh, there's no such thing as Atlantis, no such thing as Mu. Stay away from them idiots. Stay away from them. Because you will never learn nothing. Because if these niggas, listen, first of all, how do you learn? How do you think these civilizations was conceived if you ain't even allowed to think about them? These idiots will tell you. This nigga Ishmael Bey talk about he got in touch with the guy who wrote the book about the land of Mu, and his family said, oh yeah, he was just making that shit up. And I looked at this nigga like, you a fucking agent, bro. You gotta be an agent. If you took their word, how could they speak for him and he's not even here no more? And this man wrote he had a bunch of different research along with evidence proving this stuff. So he just came up with this shit out of nowhere. Stay away from them niggas, man, because you ain't gonna never learn enough. You ain't gonna never learn nothing fucking with Garfield, fucking with these Armin Ryan. You ain't gonna never learn nothing with them. Because the only thing they gonna teach you is this fake ass school shit in which you can go to school yourself and learn. You don't need to learn it from a bunch of old ex crackheads and a bunch of ex motherfuckers who don't understand shit. Now, I'm not saying that you can't learn nothing from them, but these niggas keep you ignorant. All right? So it said Kingdom of Mu. It said he wrote how Brahma monastery records preserve the story of its fate beneath the waves. It say which now covers India gargantuan walls. I would love to see how big them walls is. I'm gonna check that out. I think the link is up here. Let me see. This the link right here. I'm gonna check this shit out when I get done. What was we? All right, right here. All right, we're gonna finish this up. Say yet another lost city is reemerging, not from beneath the waves this time, but among the dense foliage of the Mexican jungle, dubbed the Kutan, red large rocks in Mayan. It say the University of Phoenix field archaeologists claim that the late classical ceremonial site is one of the largest ever found in the Yucatan Central Lowland. The 54 acre urban center could have housed as many as 4,000 residents who built 15 step pyramids. Who built 15 step pyramids, the tallest at 75 feet. Excavations have so far revealed plazas, private domiciles, altars, ball courts, and inscribed stone slabs documenting the abrupt abandonment of the Chalton around 1000 AD. Aerial photographs were taken to the remote density vegetated location in 1999, but resources were lacking to undertake an expedition until the late year. Investigators hacked their way through a 10-mile of forbidden jungle. See, this is what these niggas don't want to go. It's no telling what the fuck is in them 10 miles. They find all types of shit. Fuck, man, who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows what the fuck? This is the niggas don't want to go in that type of shit. We go out, we be out there one motherfucking day, we'll lose our damn mind or whatever. We put a nigga out. Well, I'm not saying maybe some of us, maybe some of us, we might tap right into our ancient ancestry, and we might be the leader of the expedition, man. You know what I'm saying? Nigga might just rip his pants leg off and tie a motherfucking bandana around his neck and take a motherfucking machete and just cut all the way through and shit and be standing on the top of the pyramid the next day. So we don't. I'm not going to say that. I'm damn sure not going to count us out or whatever though. But damn, it say hack their way through a 10-mile of forbidding jungle for 3 weeks before finally arriving at the almost perfectly preserved city. It say this near the prison time conditions lead to the car time in the unique identity as remarkable time capsule from the Mayan Empire. Now understand this. This is what you need them donations for. So you can get money from Puffy and get money from Gay-Z and the rest of these fucking punks or whatever. And we could go out there and we could take this money and do our own excavations, man. You know what I'm saying? Go out there, get some right equipment, and we can go out there and do our own. And that's it's 10 miles of forbidden jungle. Who knows what the hell was in that jungle, bro? Who knows? Who knows? I would love to interview one of the people who was present during that excavation. Because who knows what the fuck they felt or what the hell they encountered. 10 miles of jungle? What? You understand? So like I said, man, it's a lot of interesting stuff that's going on. And, a lot of brothers talk about, history not important. But listen, man, history always going to be important, especially if you wasn't told the correct history, man. So before I get up out of here, let me see who's in the place to be. Like I said, man, shout out to everybody, man, for coming through, man. I appreciate you, man. The 106 people watching. Like I said, man, if you can, send some donations to my Cash app. That's the $ Atanchan1, law lowercase, Atanchan1 at my Cash app me or whatever. And my PayPal address, as well as a t-shirt spring for Atanchan American t-shirts. Cop yourself a t-shirt. Wear that bitch under a blazer. Wear that shit to church. Wear it to school. Wear it to court. Wear it to the doctor. Wear that motherfucker wherever you go where people won't ask you what the hell is an Aborigine. Because soon they sit, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're an Australian." No. I'm an American Aborigine. You see how that works, right? Oh, what's your American Indian or Native? No. I'm not that. No. I'm not that. Well, what are you? And then people see when you start teaching this stuff, people, oh, well, I learned this in school. Well, this is when Homie the Clown comes out with his little bike. You know how motherfucking them bikes used to make them little noise and just clunk you right upside the head with a fucking sock. You know what I'm saying? Because people always relate back to what they learned in school, but niggas don't even talk about their own personal research or what research you have done outside of any of these so-called Western civilizations or Western educational educational facilities or institutions. All right. And shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Like I said, man, I'm trying to get this document out. Y'all see the work I do. I shoot 3-hour videos or whatever, man. And this is, like I said, this is work. This is work to sit here and run through all this. And like I said, I'm not the best reader or whatever from a screen. I can basically comprehend very well when I do my research. But like I said, me reading, I'm not the best person to be reading it. But guess what? I still take the initiative. I still raise my hand to take the project, and I do it myself. And like I said, you see brothers in there saying, "Oh man, your reading skill." Well, listen, you take over the motherfucking project then. Create yourself a YouTube page, and hopefully you'll be half as successful as I am. And if I am successful, I consider success is anything over 10 subscribers, I think I'm successful, okay? Because if I can get more than 10 people to listen to me, then according to my own personal achievements or whatever, I feel as though I'm successful, okay? So, shout out to everybody, man. You do your research. I'll post the link in the description, run through the link, and you do your own. I'm going to do some more, and I'm going to get with the brother Karimio and Jaguar Omek to find out some more about this Anubis thing. that they have found in the Americas or whatever. And I'm curious to find out, was it in another place outside of IT or whatever? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I just went through the Cuba underwater pyramids, as well as we just went through a couple of different sites in the Americas as well. They mentioned some things with Greece and some things in India. But for the most part, they're basically saying, excuse me, they basically saying that you had Atlantis and Mu on I guess on one side you had Atlantis, and on the Pacific side you had Mu. All right, so people sitting there saying, "Oh, well, this shit never existed. This is all This is all some made up shit." Yeah, all right. You keep believing. The only thing you can, only thing if you, only thing you can believe is what you see. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if there's pyramids underwater that's 2,500 feet underwater, no one went underwater and built them. All right, no one went underwater and built them. You know what I'm saying? People, them structures was there before people was even in that area. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, comment, like, subscribe. Like I said, I got 105 people watching. At least 5 or 6 people go cop a t-shirt. At least 5 or 6 other people go ahead and send a donation so we can get this damn documentary out there, man. We don't just need hitting cultures, hitting colors or whatever, telling you about Africans. Let's talk about some of the accommodations, some of the things that we did through the Americas, man, because no one wants to talk about that. They don't want to talk about it. And then once they start, what's going to happen is this, right? What's going to happen is this. All of the stuff that they find in the Americas, they're gonna soon say that the Native Americans was the ones responsible for that. And your ass gonna be left over in Africa with a damn bone in your nose or a fucking plate in your lip. All right. You ain't gonna have nothing to do with none of the stuff that they found here, because all of these so-called scholars have written you off. That's my daughter. You hungry, BB? All right, give me a second. I'm about to end this video, okay? All right. So yeah, that's my daughter. My daughter, 10 years old. I actually got 4 daughters, but one of my youngest daughters. That's right, Hidden American coming soon. That's right, man. People don't want to fucking talk about this shit, man. Like you said, you gotta look, Chief Holiday. You right, brother Tariq got $500,000 for Hidden Colors 5, yo. I'm asking for damn near $500,000, $500,000. I'm asking for fucking about 10,000. And I ain't got as many subscribers he got. Now my footwork is not extensive as his is, because he already had 3 or 4 successful documentaries, and where people already seen his work, and his work speaks for itself. I'm one person who have a YouTube channel where I have a couple of thousand subscribers or whatever, and I'm asking for help for the people so I can go out there and get this shit done. All right. So like I said, I am the conscious one. If you like to send donations, the link in the description. My Cash Me app is the $ a Tanshan1. You know what I'm saying? If you can, go there, send your donations. I don't care if it's 50 cents. I don't care if it's $1,500, whatever. Send something so we can get this shit out there, because I'm itching to do this. I already got a lot of video footage. I'm already putting stuff together. Like I actually reached out to the brother Medicine Man. Hopefully he called me sometime this week or whatever. Like I said, I've been in contact with a bunch of different people, and I'm trying to get this stuff out there, man. And all I'm asking for is the people help me and support me, man. That's it, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, go to Tauntaun Americans, cop yourself a t-shirt. I got a bunch of different styles or whatever, or a bunch of different types of t-shirts. I have some other stuff coming when I do my own website, because I'm gonna probably do a website within the next month. And I will have like different hats and different probably posters and articles and all this other stuff that I need to put up. But T-Shirt Springs is just a stepping stone. Shout out to everybody thus far who have helped the brother out. I appreciate you. As far as all the brothers who have sent a donation, the brother who sent the camcorder, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Like I said, this is not for my personal pockets. This is for the people to be enlightened, man, because we need to know our history, man. And no one else is putting it out there. Shout out to Frank Joseph. If you want to check some of his work out, you Google the brother. That's Frank Frank Joseph. Hold up. Let me be sure how I fuck spell his last name. It's Joseph. It's JOSEPH. All right, check out. He got YouTube videos up there talking about the Olmecs, as well as, like I say, he got King Yaba Treasure or whatever, which he do make references to El Dorado in that book. And like I said, remember the Jesuits and the Nazis came to South America, Argentina, Argentina. And they know what the fuck they seen down there. We the one who don't know. We the one who naive. And like I said, the majority of America is and still is a Negro continent. Even though you do have Chinese, you do have Europeans, and you do have a bunch of freeloaders that do come here to exploit our land or whatever, to take what they can take so they can fucking, you know what I'm saying, so they can try to benefit from it or whatever. But nonetheless, like I said, if you got almost 200 so-called million Aborigines in Brazil, these are not Africans. According to we just went up here to slavevoid.org. You see how many people they claim they brought here. They claim the total is almost 13. Well, it's 12.5 million. That's embarked. That's people who got on, disembarked, people got off. It's almost 10. It's 10,702,655 people supposedly who disembarked off of these so-called boats. But we know that if they was already enslaving the Pequots in North America, and the Dutch was already taking people from New Amsterdam, which is New York, back and forth to Brazil, as well as already black people in Brazil, then we have a lot of work to do, because we can't even prove it might have only been 100 fucking Africans that came here. The majority of the people that was brought back here was already people from this so-called continent. They just were shipped around and given different names, and then 200 years later they changed the name to benefit their story. So they throw you off. If you think everywhere you look you see a Negro, and that Negro or that slave is an African, then you're going to abandon the fact that you don't even understand that it was already Negroes here. If you do not understand that, then you need to go back and do your research. First form an understanding of what the people looked at like that was on this continent. So now you say, okay, well, this brother James Chatter saying that the first Americans resemble Africans, Australians, South Pacific Islanders. Okay, what do we resemble? Okay, so it was already black people here. Okay, so now you have a black slave trade. You have an Indian slave trade, in which, remember, I told you I don't really use the word Indian, but according to them, this is the only way you're going to find it, because they're not going to be Aboriginal slave trade. It's going to be an Indian slave trade. If you find out that the Indians that they talking about look like or resemble Africans, now you know that they sent these so-called people to the Caribbean, okay? Like I said, look at Brazil. Brazil had almost 5 million people that disembarked. The second highest number to that is British Caribbean. Yeah, British Caribbean is the second number. And the mainland of North America, as you see right here, the mainland North America, you had closer to 500,000, and you had 380 something thousand people who got off in North America. How is there almost 80, 90 million of us now? Even with them killing us, even with them making our children homosexuals and shit to where they not properly reproducing, even with all abortions and everything, there's still almost 90. They tell you 45 million. That's a very small number. Okay, don't believe that. Like I told you, in Brazil, if they look at the number in Brazil. Look, in Brazil, they tell you almost 5 million people got off. How the fuck in 2018 there's almost 200 million people there? How? How? Oh, because the Jesuit the Jesuit Pope or priest or the Jesuits was telling you that many of the Portuguese was going down and having babies with Negras, meaning female so-called Aborigines. Okay, so like I said, use your damn brain. Don't be an idiot. Don't let nobody shape your reality and tell you stuff that's not true. If you got common sense, you'll understand. And look. If they was taking people from Africa, then why would they be? If they was taking people from Africa, then why do you have an embarked and disembarked region in Africa alone? Meaning that they was dropping people off. Because I believe this right here are all people from the fucking America. And this small number right here is 155,000 people who disembarked that got off in Africa, maybe a small remnant of the people from here. Okay, so like I said, man, do your own research, man. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Do your own research, shape your own perspective, man, because a lot of people out here is benefiting from your ignorance and benefiting by you being an African American. And like I said, even the immigrants that come here, they benefit from you being an African American because most of us like, oh, fuck America. We don't care about America because you don't know that you're from here. And the people laughing like, yeah, keep saying fuck America. That's wonderful. Keep saying that. That's wonderful. And before you know it, you ain't gonna know where the hell you was from. So like I said, man, comment, like, subscribe. Go to my Cash app. Send your boy some donations. Just told you Tariq Nasheed got 500, almost a 500,000. You know what I'm saying? He got heavy donations. And like I said, the brother he do mad research upon them hitting colors. I'm not gonna sit there and say what his other stuff is about or whatever though. But as far as that, I enjoy watching the hitting colors. I'm not gonna sit here and fake moves, even though that at this point in time we have to do our own research and take back that coat of arm that's on the hitting colors. That is American Negro. That's a privateer, a pirate. All right. So like I said, man, go to the Cash app. Send donations, whether it's 50 cents, whether it's $5, whether it's $10, whether it's $20, whether it's $100, whether it's $1,500. You know what I'm saying? We need to get this documentary out so I can spread the love among other people to help me get this shit done. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Go to T-shirt Spring. Cop yourself a T-shirt. Let people know who the Aborigines are and that we waking the fuck up. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Let people know. Rock that shit, man. Work out. Get your arms up. Get your arms big and shit so shit can be hugging your arms. Or, females, I know it's looking wonderful on you ladies or whatever, though, but represent who you are, okay? So with that being said, man, I am the Taunch in this one. I appreciate everybody in that came through to check the video out, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully it was informative. I appreciate it. Like I said, I got 108 people watching, 108 viewers watching it. All right, this is real information. Like I said, support your brother, man. So with that being said, I am the Taunch in this one. I'm out of here. Peace.